Hello, everybody, and welcome to nerdsonline.com. My name is Sean, and today we have a very special treat for you. I'm here with Richard Wood, producer on Brutal for the PS4. Hi, Richard.
How you doing, John? Good to see you,
Good.
man.
Thank you so much for for letting us do this.
No,
You
it's great,
reached
man.
out
Thank
to
you.
us after PSX, and it meant a lot.
Yeah, no, of course, man. You guys are doing really good work. You got a passionate community, so it makes sense. Let's
Thank
talk
you.
video games.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a passionate community. It's one of the best things about us is that I could tell my friends to check out a game or a video, and typically they do. So we appreciate that. So we're here to talk. We were supposed to do this yesterday. I lost power during a major snowstorm. Still kind of dealing with that.
Yeah.
But so thank you very much for being cool. So who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. The tough questions.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So, I do production and marketing for Stormcloud, the company working on Brutal. We're based in Scotland. I've been there for 6 months, so not that long actually. I kind of worked in a different game company before that. But I moved over because I wanted to chase my passions with kind of more console and PC focused games. So, my day to day is more kind of focused on making sure everyone knows what they're doing, kind of task wise. We've got a small QA team that I help manage as well, although honestly they're very good, so they kind of get on with it themselves. And then also kind of thinking about how we'll get the word out about the game. So stuff like this, which is really quite cool.
That's very cool. Yeah. I saw Brutal at PSX obviously, and then you guys have been slowly like leaking information or
Yeah.
showing us the different character builds, and I gotta say it's one of those types of games are some of my favorite games. I love dungeon crawlers. I love playing with my friends. And it's just a lot of fun. So where did you actually work before your company now?
Yeah, sure. So initially, I actually worked on a game called APB. It was a PC game. That was my first ever game that I did straight out of university. But sadly, that company went under with administration, which sucks. It happens in the games industry and most industries, but it sucks. So I had a choice to make. I could either move to another studio doing similar stuff, or locally, this new company opened up. They were a mobile company and they were venture backed. They had quite a lot of money. There was a lot of investment with this company, and I knew I could learn a lot of stuff there. So I moved there knowing that the games weren't my passion, but as someone who'd got a year's experience in game development, I could do a lot of different stuff. And I worked there for 4 years. And in my third year, I was senior producer, so I was quite kind of high up in the company. But I started kind of realizing that I loved the people and I loved the security, but what I was doing wasn't that fun. And when you go to work every day, working 9 6, sometimes 9 8, 9 9, not often, but sometimes, and you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's kind of a drag. So I realized around my third year that it was time to start looking for something else, but I wanted to do something that I would enjoy. So I was in no rush to jump to kind of do anything. It had to be like the right project. And I was speaking to different companies, both home and abroad, and Stormcloud came up and they were working and they showed me the video for Brutal. And I was like, that looks awesome. It's quite niche. It looks really unique as well. So as like your first project on PS4, it's quite standout. And it's a small studio where we have actually four programmers, kind of three artists, two QA, myself and Frank, the owner and designer. So I got to do a bit of everything. So it kind of made sense for my career move. So that was my sort of short but sweet story.
That's awesome. Yeah. The games industry is so hard, as I'm learning now. It's so hard to
Yeah.
get into. It's ridiculous. So you went to college for it?
Actually, I went to university and I did marketing. So it was around I'd always played games, I'd always liked games, but it was around my sort of third or fourth year that it clicked with me that games could be a thing. I met a very awesome guy named Michael Barkley, who's now the lead level designer on Star Citizen
Oh,
for Cloud
awesome.
Imperium. He's a great guy. And he was like, you should just make games. And I was like, I should just make games. And around that point, I just started applying for different QA roles, and I was quite lucky that I managed to get into one. And it was tough at first because everyone applying was a programmer, an artist, a designer, something to do with games. And I was trying to get my CV to match that. And I was like falling behind everyone. So I just changed it to be, hey, look, I focus on marketing and business, so I've got a different mindset, so I could be good for your team. And the minute I changed to that and kind of sold myself versus trying to make myself fit into what they wanted, I got a role quite easily. So
Yeah,
it
that's
took a while,
that's
but
that's awesome. Cause so I was around the same thing. So when I was a little bit younger, I realized I wanted to be in video games, but I was like, I don't know how to program. I'm
yeah,
not gonna be able to learn how to program. Like I draw stick figures. I suck when it comes to art.
yeah,
And I was like super depressed for a really long time. But then I realized there's a whole other side to video games that is like
Yeah.
not the talent, and it's like not that you're not talented. That's just like I've
No, I'm
heard
not. It's fine. Don't worry.
yeah,
I
I've
know that.
heard
It's
you
fine.
use that expression before, where you're like the programmers and the artists are the talent, and
Yeah.
but there's a whole other expression where you about getting the word out there and going to events and meeting people, and that's what I am good at. That's what you're good at too, clearly.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when I saw the demo for Brutal, I was like pretty jazzed about it. I was like, oh,
Nice.
this game looks fucking sick. And it was like PSX was kind of a disappointment for me.
Mhm.
Just because this conference felt kind of weird, and we ended up finding out the whole Kojima thing. But like, I
Yeah.
was like, only a couple of games stood out, and I saw that, and I was like, I remember turning to a friend and being like, "That's pretty fucking dope." So you guys are
Thanks,
clearly,
dude.
if they had showed me the demo for Brutal, I would have went and worked for him too.
All right. Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
impressive demo.
Yeah.
So sorry, forgive me. Usually, as people out here watching Nerds Online know, I like to just kind of do things without preparing because like I'm better at that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to have a little bit of preparation. A lot of people are asking questions for you because I tweeted it out that I was going to be doing an interview with you. So I'm going to scroll through, and my friend Tyler asks, "What are some of the biggest challenges in today's game industry, and what has changed since you started in the industry?" So has anything big changed?
Whoa, jeez.
I know,
I
tough
think.
question. Sorry to just throw that on you.
Yeah, no, that was the first question. Go on, Tyler. What are you doing? Yeah. So I think the biggest challenges is I think initially my biggest challenge was trying to get the word out about the game. For our game and for our company because when you see the trailer, it looks really cool. But if you hadn't seen that trailer, and I said to you, we're doing this 3D roguelike, but it's all built from ASCII, kind of, Tron inspired, you kind of go, I don't know what you mean. So that was quite difficult, but we're very lucky that PSX came along and we could do the demo, do the trailer on the live stage, people could play the game. So that made it a lot easier. So we're very lucky with that. But man, the toughest thing, I think time is the toughest thing. Like,
Yeah.
when we came to PSX, we were kind of quite far into development. We're close to beta, so we're almost feature complete. And just because of the time constraints we were under, we hadn't shown them the game just yet. I mean, we came to PSX in December, and honestly, like the week before that, that was when the game became playable. Like you could do stuff, but it was a bit crashy. The features weren't all finished, so we couldn't really show them the game and get a proper feedback from it. We did some playtests internally, but the game wasn't finished really, so it's hard to get feedback. So we took it to PSX, and generally it was quite good feedback. But that's the point you kind of go, oh damn, we need to change this, and this, and the time isn't there to do that. So you're always kind of arguing with yourself, and you go, well, we have X amount of time, we have these 10 things, we can only do 3 of them. What 3 do you do? And you're never quite happy with what you do. I might be the same as you guys in video editing or podcast editing. You want to do
100%.
so much, but there's
100%.
time's not there. So I think that's a challenge for every developer. And I think sometimes you get around it and you go, yes, that's awesome. And sometimes you make sacrifices, which sucks a little bit. But it's that thing where you don't want to release a game early and have it be backed because everyone remembers that. But you don't want to never release and go bankrupt because you don't have any money. So you're trying to make the best you can. And I think over the since PSX actually, I think we really have made a much better game because watching people play it was the best thing for us because you realize what was not working. And even things that people didn't say weren't working, just watching them play it, you realize that if they played that for hours, they'd go, oh, this is a bit lame. So we just fixed that, and that was awesome. So it's been a busy few months, but that's probably the hardest thing. Biggest thing that's changed for me probably is just working on a game like this. When I first started, I was working on it was a PC game called APB, All Points Bulletin, and it failed somewhat spectacularly. It's still going now by a different company. A different company bought it. But it was this 400-man team working on one game. It was a PC GTA online third-person shooter.
Oh my god, I remember this. I remember this game.
Yeah, it was quite hyped, and then it came out and it wasn't that good. Sadly, it happens.
It happens.
So it does happen. So we were this like mega studio trying to work on this mega game, and there were indies back then, but not really. Whereas now you got people like Mike Bithell,
Mike
and
Bithell's
Volume,
the man.
exactly. Yeah, so you got people like him and countless others working on kind of really cool games. And the word indie is so misused these days.
Oh, it really
it's
is. It's like,
horribly misused.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. But there's so many smaller studios, if you will, work on really kind of unique and innovative games. And I think that's probably the biggest change, is just the variety in games that we get now, and just the number of games we get. I mean, I think people used to kind of complain that the summer months were really quiet and you get loads of games at Christmas time, and now it's all year round. There's just top quality games almost every month, which is
100%.
pretty crazy.
100%. Right
Pretty
now, I'm in a
crazy.
weird lull where there's nothing that I want to play,
Yeah,
but like Brutal's gonna fix that. And I was like,
nice. Yeah,
I've been talking to Fred and Jack about that, and they're like, "So what are you looking for?" And I was like, "I nothing. I'm not looking forward to any of this." I mean, there are great Witnesses coming out, and
yeah,
Firewatch or something, whatever is coming out, and like those are great games, but typically not my thing. But this, and like, it's not like I have anything against indies. It's just I'm a competitive first-person shooter.
yeah.
I,
No, that's
I
great.
I like to compete. I know you like to play League, right?
Yeah, I got my TSM hoodie on, so
Yeah.
I like League, and I'm quite big into Rainbow Six Siege at the moment. That's
Oh,
my
I
my
love
jam
Siege.
right
We
now.
should play. If you have PS4, we should
I do,
play.
man. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I love Siege.
It's so good.
Uh,
It's so well done. So polished as well. The
I'm all
gameplay
about.
is
I'm
so
usually all
solid.
about competing. That's like my one of the reasons I play video games is like I read a lot about game design.
Right, cool.
So there's one of the things is like the type of player that you are,
Yeah, yeah,
and like
yeah.
one of them is a killer. And
Yeah,
it's like that type of player, for people who don't know, is a player that thrives on dominating other opponents, or
yeah,
like playing games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, which are also, I love Bloodborne,
yeah.
to win. And like, but it's not what I want to do all the time. And like Brutal's like looks like that game. I'm gonna sit down with Fred, and he's gonna have his monitor next to mine, and we're just gonna fucking play for like 10 hours. And Jack will be there too, probably, in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corner playing as the mage. So tell me about the
That's great.
builds, like the different characters in the game. So
Yeah,
there's
sure. So we've
four
got
classes, right?
yeah, we've got four. Yeah, so we've got the warrior, we've got the mage, Amazon, and ranger. And generally speaking, I've said this before in different interviews, but everyone can do everything. So if you pick the mage, let's say, and you find an axe, you can build that axe, you can use that axe. So you aren't locked into things. It's more the starting skills of each character. So the warrior is your typical tank. He's quite slow, but he does a lot more damage. He's got a lot more health as well, so you can take much more of a beating. But it's harder to get away from quick enemies. The ranger and the Amazon are quite similar. They're both kind of faster enemies, a bit less health and damage than the warrior. But the Amazon uses kicks, so she's got a slightly longer range on her for engaging on enemies. So they're kind of middle of the road characters. And the mage is on the complete other end of the spectrum. He's got much lower health, but he's got a staff that he can use that fires magic bolts at enemies. He's kind of got quite a long range attack on him. We do have like a skill tree in the game, so there are four trees, so to speak. You got one that focuses on crafting and health. You got one that focuses on how to use certain weapons. One about special abilities for those weapons, and the last one's sort of the magic tree, so using wands, crafting magical items. But you gain XP in the game by killing enemies or destroying things. So once you gain XP, you can choose any of those skills. So again, if you are the mage, you can use an axe, or if you are the warrior, you can level up magic. It's up to you what you want to do in the game itself. It's just that starting combination that will suit your playstyle. But after that, you can kind of decide what you want to do.
That's awesome. Yeah, like games like that are just always a lot of fun. It reminds me of like almost like Diablo, which
Yeah,
I spent like 100 hours playing Diablo and never even beat it.
yeah.
It's like
No, yeah,
games like that
great game.
are just so fun, and it's just it's good to play with your friends. And that's like I said, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I don't know when you guys. I know you guys say you're launching soon.
Yeah.
Are you guys up to that crunch time yet, where everybody's just like freaking out, just killing themselves working on a game?
I think we're freaking out.
Well,
We're
I
not
mean, yeah,
killing
you guys are an
ourselves
indie studio.
just
You
yet.
might be doing that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're not actually. We've actually been really good actually. I think my last studio was a little bit worse. Not bad, but a little bit worse. But we did quite a bit for PSX because the fear is there that someone's going to play your game and it has to be good. Right now, we're definitely working quite hard. I wouldn't say we're in crazy crunch right now because crunch is a hard thing. There's definite positives to it. You can get more done, but there's such a negative to it. If you do it too early, it can kind of burn people out, or you can work 10 hours one day and the next day go, I'll take it easy today because I worked 10 hours the day before, and over time you do the same amount of hours. So crunch is kind of a strange thing. We're definitely working quite hard. Definitely kind of shorter lunch breaks and maybe slightly longer hours, but weekends are free at the moment, which is really good. So
That's good.
right now, touch wood everywhere. We're on schedule and on track to be out before summer, before
Awesome.
E3. So God, touch wood. So yeah, everything's going well so
If
far.
everything goes to plan, I'm not gonna hold you to it. I'm not gonna be like
Yeah,
Colin
yeah,
texting
thanks.
you and tweeting you and being like,
Yeah,
"Where's the fucking game?"
yeah,
Because it
yeah.
just I don't. I think it's lost on some people. I've been playing video games for 20 years now. I'm gonna be 24 on Thursday. Spoilers for people who don't know my birthday.
Spoilers.
I'll actually be getting on a plane to fly to San Antonio to go to PAX South on my birthday.
Nice. That's cool
Um,
though. That's cool.
yeah, traveling for me is really important. It's what I like to do. So I figured I might as well take another vacation and just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to PAX South. But so I've been playing video games since I was 4. I got my well 3. I got my first game console when I was 3 years old, and it was like I think I was in the 6th grade. I was like, people make this. I can barely make a sandwich at 23
Yeah.
years old, and someone is sitting there putting together the right lines of magic in a computer to make like The Last of Us happen, and like,
Yeah.
and then you go like Thomas is Alone is another great example. It was like some dude just made was like, fuck, this is cool. I'm gonna make that.
Yeah.
And that's like, so I watch a lot of extra credits. I read a lot about the industry, and I hear about crunch, and I'm like, that just sounds so hard.
Mhm.
So you've shipped a game. You shipped APB, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was the most crunch I've ever done. I mean, I did a 25-hour shift one day.
That's like
That's the
Black
biggest I've
Friday,
done.
but every day.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, that was the most crunch I've ever. I've never done any crunch like that, like ever. That was just the craziest thing in the world. But I look back now and I realize that. So eventually the company went under. They ran out of money. I look back now and go, wow, we were doing crunch because the money was running dry, and I didn't realize at the time I was quite low level, but I see that now why there was so much crunch because they were so desperate to get the game out and try making money.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
but
crazy.
yeah, that was crazy crunch. That was months of 7 days a week, months.
That's so now APB comes out, and it's not like it's not the next big thing, but like, you still must have been crazy proud. Like, you
Oh
launched a
yeah,
fucking video game. That's the
yeah, yeah.
not many people can really go out and be like, well, yeah, I did launch a game. I was part of that development team that put that game out. So how
Yeah,
was that? What was that like?
that was amazing. Honestly, that was incredible. I was the same as you. I used to only play online multiplayer games. So APB was like 100 man, 150 man server where you could log in, group up with your friends or random people and kill each other. And it was like, for me, that was like the best first game I could have.
Yep.
We used to, we would test the game during the day, but we'd have this hour crossover where we had a team of 50 QA, and we would all just get together and just play the game. And for an hour of my day, I would just try and find the best gun, the best car, and drive around killing people. And it was just the game. Even though the game wasn't the best in the world, it was still like, this is fun. I'm doing this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you always kind of know that a game isn't perfect. Like, everyone kind of knows that, oh, this game is good. I think we always knew that it wasn't going to be amazing, but there was enough there that if we could just keep going for X months more, we could really make something of it. But sadly, it wasn't to be, and it didn't work out. But I'm still, for my first ever game, I'm still so proud of that. You can't actually, you know what, I'm going to show you. On my wall right beside me, I've got hold on. I've got this. This is my plaque from the
That's
game
so
launch.
cool.
So game disc, game manual, and my name, what I did on it. So I still got that because that's my first ever game.
No, that's
Um,
fucking awesome, dude.
yeah, yeah.
As somebody who obviously I will never launch a game probably,
You
and
never
like
know.
that is the cool. Like, looking at that, I'm like, that is so cool,
Yeah, it's pretty
so
sweet.
cool.
It's pretty sweet. So yeah, no, it sucked that it went south, but I learned a lot from that. So it was a good experience all around.
That's what you do. It's important to take failures and turn them into lessons. Like, Jack and I had a company before Nerds, and you never heard about it, and no one ever heard about it.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
I took, we were like, why does nobody care about us? And then we figured it out, and I was like, oh, I think I know how to fix this. So,
Nice.
like, not that Nerds Online is the fucking biggest thing in the world, but, you're here, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're the first person that's ever really been like, hey, you guys are doing cool shit over there that isn't like Greg. So like,
Yeah.
it's really nice, and like I understand that completely.
It's so funny though, because just to jump on there for 2 seconds, it's so funny because so many indie devs struggle for coverage, and I think it's because obviously IGN and GameSpot are massive websites, and they're really important to people like myself and companies like myself, but they're flooded with games every single day, and they're important, those websites, but people like yourself and Kind of Funny and other sites out there, they've got smaller communities, but still very passionate communities. And in my opinion, I'd rather come and chat to you who can go, oh, this game sounds awesome, and that opinion will go to people that know you and go, oh, he likes these games, and he told me he liked this thing before, I liked it as well. Therefore, there's a connection there, so I'll try this game. There's just a stronger message by going to people like yourself who are out there building a community and putting content out there. So while IGN are great, and I'm definitely going to try and get our game on there, obviously, I think there's a lot to be said for coming to great places like yourself and trying to build a rapport with communities. And I wish more devs did it because they'd see great results from their games.
We appreciate it, and yeah, I mean, I guarantee that I know like, a bunch of members of the community who are gonna pick up the game. Like I've been like, I didn't want to tell people that we were talking to you guys about doing interviews and stuff. I just wanted to kind of get a general consensus, and people were like, oh yeah, that game did fucking look cool.
Nice.
Because it also helps that your game looks cool. It looks like
no, it does help.
It's a game that looks like, even if we weren't talking, I would scroll past it and be like, oh yeah, no, I definitely do want to play this. This looks good. Tron's like visually one of my favorite movies ever. So
yeah,
just that style looks so cool. We kind of touched on this already, but let's see. Dolan asks, what exactly does a producer do at a studio? So like, what is your day to day like when you come into work? You're in Scotland. You're a Scotland-based company, right?
Yeah.
So you're over there. You got I don't know anything about Scotland. I'm sorry. All my knowledge of Scotland is like from Braveheart, and I feel like that's a little outdated.
No, that it's very muddy, and we wear a lot of kilts. That's kind of it. No, so like, producer is such a weird job because every company it's different. In my last company, when I worked in a mobile studio, I had sort of 2 or 3 teams that I worked with, and we'd work on what we're going to do for the next game release or next game update. It was mobile, and we just sit there and plan it out, make sure it fit into a time slot. I'd make sure every day the guys were on track, they were doing the right stuff. If anything was going wrong, we'd sit and talk about it. If we were trying to plan a launch, I worked with marketing or QA to make sure we were on track. So in my last job, it was more kind of, I guess, middle management almost. It was kind of just liaising with different people and making sure things were on track. So that's my last job. At this one, I've got a title producer, but we're so small that we don't really need like a producer. So what I do more is, when I first started, I was kind of doing the QA on the game because that's my background as well. And then we hired 2 fantastic QA testers, and I kind of worked with them to a point where they don't really need me there anymore, which is quite nice.
Nice.
It's great, yeah. I kick back, to be honest with you. I drink margaritas all day.
Man, where do I sign up?
Yeah, I know, right? So my day's quite varied. Some days, so this week actually I was getting audio examples together for some of our game sound effects. So I was basically going on YouTube and just typing in like skeleton noises and trying to find things that I liked, which was quite cool. So I did that for a while, put together a document for our outsourced audio guy. I then sat down and tried to figure out how we were going to have different enemy groups in the game. We've got X number of enemies in the game, and we can group them together and make kind of nice combinations and nice sort of things that people can come across and go, wow, that's really cool, that's really quite difficult. So I did that this week as well, trying to figure out how to make the game challenging and kind of quite unique for playtesting internally. We did a small version of that for PSX, and it worked really, really well. So now we're trying to do that even better. So I did that. I worked on some interview questions for your site, especially, and kind of planned out our content for the next month on social media, and kind of things that we could do and different videos that I'm going to create and try and put out there to hopefully target various sites and get people on board and interested in Brutal. So it does vary kind of week to week. It's kind of what needs done. Can I help anywhere? So I kind of see it, my role, as more of a, how do I facilitate what someone needs over here? And if that's promoting the game, if that's testing something, if that's looking at Sony documentation and figuring out how we make this thing work and pass Sony test cases, I'll do that as well. So it's varied, which is quite nice, to be honest with you.
So you're the guy that gets everything done, pretty much. You make the game by yourself.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Hopefully no one Stockdale listens to this, but yeah, I am the guy that pretty much those guys do nothing, and I'm like, come on, guys, I'm gonna put this for.
Guys, we gotta get this done. I'm the producer here at Knerds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no doubt. It's funny because so I was just reading through briefly. I read the article when it came out of the interview that you did with Jack, where you guys can find on nerdsonline.com. If you guys notice me looking away from the camera, I'm using my Twitch stream setup, which you guys can tune in live, twitch.tv/SeanTwisters. That is set up for me to be looking at this monitor, but my computer is this monitor. So I'm like, so if I'm looking at the camera, I have to like chameleon it and look at you. I didn't set this up well. I apologize. I just don't want you to think I'm not paying attention to you, because I am.
No, I do the same. Don't worry about it. I'm doing exactly the same.
You know a little bit about Twitch.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. So my favorite thing about you is I went to your YouTube channel, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna interview this guy. I'm gonna check out some of his content, and I watched some of your videos on YouTube, which were great. I enjoy them much. And you were like, you know what my problem is? I play too much League of Legends.
Yeah.
And I was like, just having this conversation with Jack the day before. He was like, so you're gonna do a top 5 video games that you loved in 2015 list? And I was like, no, I only played 4 I liked. Last year I played 1,211 hours of Destiny.
Nice.
So,
Value
like,
for money, though. Value for money.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, as far as $60 spent, I'm totally. People are like, "Are you really gonna buy microtransactions for that game?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I spent half my life playing it. So when you were like, "I need to play more video games," I was like, "Oh fuck, this guy gets it. He knows the problem of being a competitive gamer." So you originally wanted to play 100 games in a year. So tell me about that. That's impossible.
Yeah, that failed horribly. No, so before I got this job, I was really behind the scenes at my old company, and that was fine. I enjoyed that. It was more sort of people focused, getting games done, working with different projects, and kind of getting stuff done behind the scenes. And I moved to SoundCloud because I wanted to do more marketing stuff. It was my degree. It's what I enjoy. I love community stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm that great at it. Like in terms of on camera, I speak quite fast, and I haven't done quite a lot, and I haven't done a lot of this. So I want us to practice, and as you know, just get in front of the camera and do it.
That's the way to do it.
Exactly. So I set up a YouTube channel, I set up a Twitch channel, and I started doing content. But again, as you know, everyone's doing that. Everyone's kind of going, "Hey, watch me play blah." So I thought, well, I need a hook, and I was like, you know what's good? Big numbers. So I thought, well, I want to play more games. I want to be on camera more. Let's put those things together and try and build something from that. And it was going quite well. I think I did 20 odd games in like 4 months, which is pretty decent. And then realized it was. I then realized that I wanted to play Fallout and Skyrim and Dark Souls, and that ruined it. So
Can't do it.
You know, exactly. Yeah. So, but I stuck to my main goal, which was I just want to practice talking from a camera. You know, get my speech slowed down, try and not lose my accent, but try and make it so you understand me a bit better. And it was just practice, you know. And again, that's why I love what you guys are doing, because you want to work in, you know, X, Y. Obviously, you want this to do well, but you also want to kind of work X, Y, or Z in the future. And this is great, great practice.
People know, like, I want to end up at IGN or Kind of Funny.
Yep.
It's like, I loved my company. I started it and would do it with my friends, but like, you need to be doing this and like stuff like this in order to be able to do stuff like that. Especially for me, I'm a high school dropout. Like I didn't go to college, so I have to be very impressive or no one will give a fuck. So like we were like, let's start Nerds. But I really like your 100 games in a year thing. I thought that was like, I remember seeing it and I was like, is that possible? Is he gonna be scrolling through like the iPad list and being like, I'll have you know that I played this game. It was 20 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I should have done. I should have done that and been like, I did it. Well done.
Technically, I did do it.
Exactly. I didn't lie.
There was a book thing in 4th grade where you had to read 100 books in a year. And I fucking hate reading. I'm 24 years old. I hate reading. It's the worst thing ever. I'd much rather play video games. So it was like, if you didn't do it, your whole class got punished.
Oh, wow.
So I remember the day before I went to the library and got every Dr. Seuss book on the planet. And I was like, well, technically I read 100 books. And she was my teacher was like, well, you're not wrong. I should have been more specific. So the next year it was like, you have to read 100 books of 200 pages or more. And I was like, I don't care. I'm out. I fucked it up for everybody else, but I did it. I was watching some of your stuff. Did you play Alan Wake?
I did, yeah.
Is that one of your games?
It was, yeah.
Can we just talk about that? Did you like it?
I loved it, yeah. It's a great game. It was
one of my favorite games ever. Like, I seriously think that is the most chronically underrated exclusive game of all time. That game was like a 10. Well, not a 10. It was like a 9 in my eyes.
Yeah,
But
no, I loved it. Like the gunplay was good, the controls were quite good, the storytelling was good. It looked good for its time as well. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I really, really
storytelling
enjoyed
was
it.
so good in that game. I've every time I know there's like 2 or 3 of my fans that love Alan Wake too. So every time I get to like if I have an excuse and I was scrolling through your list, I was like, oh shit, Alan Wake, I love that game.
Yeah.
Twitch is a different beast. I like how you so on your YouTube channel, youtube.com/retrocrumpet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, good. Just making sure I
Nailed
got
it.
that.
Yes.
Um,
Promotion.
you do a very good job of cross branding, which people can't even don't even comprehend how important that is.
Thank you.
Because I know if I'm on pretty much anything retro crumpet, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought. Oh dear, I hate when this happens.
Yeah,
Oh,
Twitch.
you do. You have a breakdown. You were releasing breakdown videos. I haven't been. I'm not caught up on your YouTube content, so I don't know if you're still doing it. And
No,
your
I am,
first
yeah.
breakdown video, you were telling me about how hard it is to simultaneously launch a Twitch and a YouTube account.
Yep.
And so, have you figured out how to balance that a little bit better? Because I still pretty much haven't figured out how to balance that at all.
Nope, not at all. Nope, not
It's
at
so
all.
hard.
It's tough, yeah. So I think when I did it, I thought I'd do them all together, and that was a mistake. So now I'm just kind of focusing on Twitch because it's live, and I can sit down, play a game, and chat, and it's a lot of fun. And then what happens with YouTube happens with YouTube. It's quite a cool place. Like one of the things that I love in the games industry is postmortems. So companies or people will write about what went right and wrong about their game, and they're very insightful and tells you a lot about what they were thinking and why they did certain things, and you learn a lot from that. So I started doing that for my growth on Twitch. Kind of go, hey, this week I got blah number of followers, and I did this by doing X, or I got no one this week because I did Y, and that's quite interesting. So that's my like really only thing that I'm doing on YouTube right now, other than like
that
highlights and
video.
clips.
I like those videos though, because it's a very scientific way to look at Twitch, which is people don't even understand it if you're not trying out how hard it is to build a following on Twitch. It fucking takes forever. And like you'll get like I got 40 followers this week. This is gonna be every week, and then like nope, it's not every week. So I really do enjoy that. People should go check that out. I got a couple more viewer questions here. Yusef asks, what are entry level requirements to start off in the gaming industry? And another person asks, they're kind of related, advice for somebody getting into the game industry with no degree.
Yeah, sure. So I guess my best example is one of my friends is a great character artist. He works at Crate Assembly, and they're working on Total War Warhammer.
Yes.
And he's an incredible 3D artist called Danny Sweeney. Dan, DANNSW.com for his portfolio. So he went to high school, did obviously art there, went to university, focused in on just purely focused on 3D, got a job at a smaller company in Edinburgh and did more 3D work and kind of went through the standard career path, I think you would say, and then got his job at Creative Assembly. And he's doing incredible work and he's very, very talented. So he did that. His flatmate down there, who works in the same, I guess, role as him, same department as him, he is from Denmark. He finished high school, didn't go to university, and spent 4 years staying with his parents and just drawing. And he just did like tutorials online. He made a portfolio. He just drew for 4 years. You know, obviously he went to sleep and ate. But you just spent what time Danny spent at university going to classes and doing multiple different things. He spent just doing 3D models. So when Danny was at university, he would learn 2D or sculpting or like, you know, 3D modeling, basically everything you would learn at university. History, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was struggling there. Yeah, so Danny learned all this stuff, and eventually went, well, I'm going to do 3D as my specialization. I spent a lot of time out with university working on that. But this guy spent that time just doing it at home, and they both got the exact same job, exact same company, and one's got a degree, one doesn't. So it comes back to what you guys are doing. Like, if you want to work at Kind of Funny or IGN or Stormcloud or anywhere, it doesn't matter. If you can show passion and if you can show willing and go that extra mile out with of your current job, then you can honestly kind of do anything. I mean, again, a great example of someone who now works at a high-end studio on the Warhammer franchise and has no education, apart from high school education. So I think just do it. Like, if you want to do what Sean's doing, you want to work at Kind of Funny or IGN or whatever, get on camera and start making content. And if no one watches it, it doesn't matter because you're learning and you're improving your skills. So I'd say you don't really need a degree to get into it. I do production, or I did do, I'm kind of doing more marketing now. and I didn't do anything in production at university. So I'd say just be passionate and start working on whatever you want to do right this very second. And when you come to applying for jobs, you'll be miles ahead of anyone else.
Yeah, that makes me feel good to hear because like on and like people that know me personally know this, and like I think I've given this speech to my friend Roger McCorney and a bunch of other people my friend Roger, you guys should all go check him out. I tweet him out all the time. Incredibly impressive, like 16-year-old kid who like at 16 years old I called him for this interview. Wow. I was like, hey man, like I got this big interview, this super talented dude. He's making 5 video games once, he's really good looking. He's coming on. I gotta make sure that my shit
Who is this
works.
guy?
Yeah, I gotta make sure that this shit works. And this 16-year-old kid was like, so this is what you do. And it, like, you look at his videos, and his videos look, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, professionally edited. Like, it looks like he outsources his videos. And he's doing that while he's, like, I asked him to make videos for Knerds, and he's like, Sean, I love you, but I have SATs next week, and I have I have a bedtime, and I have, like, all this, like, it would be impossible for me to make, he does, like, 2 podcasts a week and edits them himself, and I was like, that kid at 16 years old right now could go get a job at almost any video game. Like, he's gonna go to college, but like any games media outlet would be like stunned. They would be like, yes, hire that kid fucking immediately. He has somebody, his Caleb is the person he does this podcast with, who also is like unbelievably talented. They're both just stupidly talented.
Scumbags.
Yeah, and like it's funny because I'm terrible with names. So if I messed up anybody's name in that, I apologize. But yeah, so it's like. It makes me feel good. I have a chip on my shoulder because I didn't go to college, so I'm always worried that, like, no matter how hard I work here, I won't get in the game industry, and it scares the shit out of me. And, like, every day I'm like, you're stupid, Sean. You should have went to film school. I'm, like, fucking trying to get this green screen to work for, like, 4 hours last night, and I just cried and went to bed.
It's blue, no!
Yeah. I smiled halfway through that. I just got an email that my job is closed tomorrow, and they're paying us for the day. So
nice.
Very, very happy about it. Sorry, completely. You know how I am. I just go everywhere. I'm off.
No, it's good, man.
So what you're saying is, if you don't have a degree, don't lose hope. You could still get into the industry.
10 million%. 10 million%.
Good to hear. Also, Dalton, travel. Get a job that allows you to take a lot. Go get an IT job. They're not hard to get, and travel as much as possible. I'm like. Hopefully getting a job in the games industry soon, and like I would love to be a producer on a game. That sounds like the fucking dopest job of all time. And I can wear my producer seducer shirt. There's a lot of plot.
I've got one.
I'm glad you do. I was gonna say if you don't, I'll call Nick. I'll send you one.
I've got one.
You need to be rocking that with a beard like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just scroll through. As like I said, I just kind of. It's funny because Jack is so calculated. He has all his questions like so perfectly written out. He's like slaving over them from days, and then he was like. So here's my questions, like a fucking flow chart. And he's like, if he says this, I'm going to go to here. And I'm like, all right. He's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. He seems like a cool guy. I'm just going to go talk to him.
Yeah. They're good though, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. It's just the way I am. I'm like notorious for never preparing for anything and just like fucking working out. Like yesterday when I was shoveling, I was like, didn't have the right gloves or anything. I was like, I'll just make it happen.
Yeah, it's fine.
So actually, I mean that's pretty much all the things I had for you. So Brutal is coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. It's good. It's before E3. So before summertime, we're just taking that PSX feedback that we kind of watch people playing the game and just making it better. So it's that thing that I think it's Greg that says actually Greg Miller that says that I mean it wasn't Greg. Someone said it that if you release a game on time and it's shit, everyone remembers it. But if you delay a game and it's good, then no one remembers that. So we want to. We're still coming out before